you're going to have to figure out your curiosities, change that up, do something that's difficult, what's not the norm, because everyone else is going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Watching porn, checking this out, looking at this crazy video, and that's the norm. And that's pretty normal. That's part of growing up.
Hello, welcome to the Below the Trees podcast. Today we've got a great episode. We talk about anxiety and why we're so, as men, horny all the time. So we're going to get through some of these issues as well. Some pop culture phenomenon. Liam Payne passed away. So we'll get into some of those details about that incident today on Below the Trees. Welcome to the Below the Trees podcast. I'm Bryan. I'm with my good friend
John.
And today we're talking about social anxiety and
horniness.
Social anxiety and horniness. So, wow, what a topic today. But before we get into that, John, how the hell are you, buddy?
All right, bro. How are you?
Doing good. It's a bit early.
It's not late night.
It's not late night. It's light. So for our previous viewers, all 40 or 15 of you for the last one, 16, probably, which was us, most likely. We usually record at night, but yesterday we had some scheduling conflicts. My schedule changed at work, so yesterday was just a busy day for me. So
it's all good.
It was either really late or early,
today. Yeah,
and I think
morning.
today made more sense.
I prefer it.
We got some coffee in us, some bagels.
Yeah.
It's a good morning. Damn good morning.
Sure.
You ate one whole bagel, as did I.
Unfortunately.
From Noah's. They call it schmear.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking cream cheese. They just, there's all these companies that come up with just random names for
marketing.
Their marketing. I got schmear. That sounds fucking gross. You got to just call it what it is, and that's cream cheese.
Schmear from Shrek.
Yeah, schmear. I'm Schmear. I'm a character from Lord of the Rings. I didn't make it in the final cut. Tolkien. Yeah, no, but it was good. It was a damn good bagel, though. Noah's bagels are pretty good. Brugger's has good bagels. Have you ever had Brugger's? Yeah, it's kind of all the same. Like Einstein's bagel, Noah's bagel. They probably get all their fucking their bagel ingredients from, or I don't even know if that. I don't think they make it in store. It's probably all from the same manufacturer, and they just ship it with a different label.
We called that white label.
White label. That's why I'm just gonna go direct to the manufacturer and get my bagels at a lower cost.
Great.
Have you heard of True Classic T-shirts?
Yeah.
I wish I could remember. The name escapes me now, but their manufacturer, you can buy direct from them, and so a T-shirt I think is like $30.
Okay. From
True Classic, but if you go to the manufacturer without the True Classic label,
right,
it's like $5 a shirt.
Yeah, but usually there's like an MOQ, like a minimum.
I don't even know what that is.
A minimum amount of like quantity.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think you had to order like
for production. So
because
they're used to doing bulk, right? So
yeah.
You're in clothing and you're gonna make a line of shirts, and you're saying, all right, these are the 5 designs that I want to go with, and I want 100,000 of them.
This is a lot of fucking shirts.
So you pay that up front
mm-hmm.
to get them done, and then you got to sell them. Or try to sell them beforehand.
Yeah.
And then
take pre-orders.
Yeah. But there's usually a minimum amount that most of these manufacturers want before they take you serious. They might accept the sample, but
But I think this one you could buy, if I remember correctly, you could buy
probably like 10.
I think even less than that, maybe 5 shirts.
5 or 10, yeah.
For $3, $5 a pop.
Sure.
I mean, that's as a consumer, it's a pretty good deal.
Right. But they'll get even cheaper if you're buying, 100,000 of them.
Yeah, well, my closet's not that big, so.
Well, nor are you running a clothing company, bro.
Oh, that's true. Thank God. I have no sense of design. As you can see from previous videos, I just wear a sweater and What they can't see is shorts.
Nice.
And today I have sandals on.
Nice.
My lowly Dodger hat. Speaking of the Dodgers, at the time of this recording, they are up 3-1 in the National League Championship Series against the New York Mets.
I'm just going to say it now. And the birds are here to assist with it.
Yeah.
But,
Calm down over there.
No. They need the ruckus. I find it odd that we have a Dodgers color commentary and a Yankee color commentary on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it early on. I told my dad, I was like, this is going to be the Dodgers versus the Yankees.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Now,
we're heading towards.
Are you suggesting it's a manufactured postseason? Like this is scripted, predetermined? You could put the tinfoil hat on, my friend. You could put the tinfoil hat on.
It's too early for the tinfoil.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
We'll leave you. We'll let this play out.
We'll let this play out.
But I am saying it now. I just find it odd.
Yeah.
That's all.
But I mean, MLB I think has been vying for this series for a long time. So I don't know if it's manufactured or if it's just the desired outcome. Because they still have to play.
Yeah, no, it would be awesome. But
Yeah.
like, if you can somehow ensure that happens, that'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, well, New York has a lot of big insurance companies. No, I'm just kidding.
And the mob.
And the mob.
I'm not kidding.
Well, anyways, on that note, what's interesting,
nothing to do with the pod.
The Yankees and the Dodgers have met in the World Series 11 times. The
Okay.
last being which of 1981, which the Dodgers took that one. But otherwise, the Yankees in that World Series have creamed the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers only netted maybe 3 wins.
So if I am going to put on the tinfoil hat,
All right, here
it
it
would
is.
be kind of cool. It would be kind of cool if the Dodgers win, and then in a couple years, yeah, we have the Olympics, and so we're winning. It's a winning city.
It's a big winning city.
Yeah,
2028 Olympics.
We got the football team that won, and
Yeah.
we're a bunch of winners over this is City of Champions.
City of Champions. Well, I think it is the City of Champions, though,
Inglewood,
right? Oh, yeah. That's Inglewood is the City of Champions.
Right.
It's crazy. Inglewood has so many offerings now. They got the Intuit Dome. They got SoFi. Obviously, the Hollywood Sports Park has been there for a long time. There's just what is it? The YouTube Theater, or is that in L.A.?
I think that's in L.A.
Okay, yeah, but there's just so much. I mean, if you think about just being able to watch professional sports in LA, you have so many offerings. You can go to Carson and watch a Galaxy game. You can go downtown and watch the LA Football Club, right? LAFC. Watch them play. Watch big college sports, baseball, football. You have everything here. Basketball,
Hockey,
Yeah, I mean
tennis, volleyball,
craps,
drag racing.
Multiple types of drag racing. This city has it all, man, when it comes to your professional sports.
Indian casinos.
Yeah, Indian casinos, just a short drive away. This episode is not brought to you by True Mash Casino, but it's a damn good place. But I'm more of a Pachanga guy, to be honest. I like Pachanga.
I have no dog in this fight.
Pachanga is a good casino.
Actually, I do. It's San Manuel.
Okay, well, there you go. But all the Indian casinos are a lot of fun. That's what you can call them, right? It's not like a politically correct thing.
Their term, not mine, I guess.
Okay, yeah. See,
I don't know.
I'm only referring to them by what they call themselves.
I know on like land parcels, they'll call it like Indian reservation.
Okay. All right.
There's no Kamala there.
They got a whole different president. But on another note, just kind of in celebrity news, I know you're a big One Direction fan. Did you hear about this?
I mean, I guess someone died.
Someone died.
Yeah.
Someone died. The famous Liam Payne passed away tragically. And I mean that seriously. I'm not trying to be facetious. He tragically passed away.
How?
He fell from a balcony.
Who pushed him?
Well, that's always the
Was he
question,
drunk?
right? Well, so
he?
reports say,
What city?
per TMZ,
Where's he from?
while in Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Is that where he lives?
No, he was visiting.
Oh.
He was visiting.
Oh.
He's English. I think
he's a Brit.
He's a Brit,
Ooh.
hanging out in Buenos Aires. I think he was actually there to see. I could be wrong on this fact, but he was there supporting another One Direction member who had a concert in the area. I could be wrong on that detail, but so don't quote me. Anyways, reports say that around 5 p.m. local time, Liam Payne.
Mosquitoes getting me now.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting shredded over here. But reports say that around 5 p.m., he fell from his balcony. Pushed, we don't know. It's under investigation still.
In Argentina.
In Argentina, Buenos Aires, Argentina. And he fell into the courtyard, crashing down to the bottom and died. Presumably blunt force trauma. Maybe before, but we don't know. That would be conspiratorial, and I don't have the facts to substantiate any claim of that sort. Sure. However, the fact remains that he is now deceased, unfortunately, and he was deceased right away, I think, because they covered his body at the location, which is pretty common practice. You know, they're not going to move the body; they're going to wait for whatever. I mean, I'm assuming, right, that they're going to wait for whatever coroner to come to collect the evidence and conduct their investigation.
3 stories isn't that high, though.
I mean, it just depends.
If you land on your head.
I don't know how many stories it was.
I thought you said 3.
No, I just fell from the balcony.
Oh.
I don't know exactly how far it was, but he passed away. Here goes the thing. Reports.
5 stories I'll take.
3 stories you'll die, man, for sure.
If you fall on your head, yeah. If you land on your feet, you might break something.
Oh,
if you're not athletic.
Break a lot.
If you're not athletic, for sure, you're gonna break quite a few things.
You probably won't be walking anymore.
For
3
life?
stories? Yeah,
for life.
I think so.
Call a doctor. Let's find out.
Let's get a doctor on the line. Dr. Phil. No, I'm just kidding.
Wrong doctor.
No, but I guess reports indicate prior to him falling, he was in the hotel lobby or somewhere in the hotel. Maybe under the influence of alcohol. Maybe. Causing a disturbance. I think it was a TMZ that stated that he broke his laptop. And then that was the last I think we've seen of him, unfortunately.
Did he party?
I don't think so. But yeah, he passed away. I mean, that's unfortunate. You know, it sucks when someone... If
These
they
are
have
just jokes,
substance issues and they pass away. This isn't. I'm not even joking.
Oh, sorry, I am.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, people all over the world are sad though. I texted both of my sisters, both of them One Direction fans. One sister said to me, "I've been crying all day."
Wow.
So, I think out of all the One Direction members, though, the most famous is the Harry Styles. He made his transition to Hollywood movies.
Oh, really?
He did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm ignorant.
No,
listen to this.
He was in Dunkirk. I know he's been in some other movies too.
Dunning-Kruger?
No. Bruegger's Bagels. I think he's the spokesperson for Noah's Bagels too. It's that damn white label. No.
What's his song? What's his famous song that he had in the summer?
Oh, I can't. I don't know. I know what song. I know he has a song. I'm trying to think of the melody right now. It's some famous song, right? Harry Styles, and that guy has style. I think he wears dresses too.
Yes.
Was that the video?
guess.
Okay. See, I never saw that.
I don't think so.
I haven't watched music videos probably since 2003.
I'm the wrong person to be consulting on this.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I mean, it's just conversation, right?
Thank God we're not giving advice.
Oh man, thank God we're not.
But
giving
we will
advice.
be doing that later.
We'll be telling jokes later too.
No, that's baked in.
No, so, but this particular Liam Payne, I believe he was the one who has had substance abuse issues in the past.
Oh, okay.
So out of all the members, I'm sure they all had some sort of play with substance abuse.
Sure.
At some point. I mean, you kind of expect it at that level of stardom and fame.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost a given. But yeah, I think he was the one who had the most
If we ask
issues
Dr.
with
Jack,
addiction.
He's got answers.
But that kind of segues into our topic for today. Why are we so anxious and horny all the time? What is going on? Why? John, what are your thoughts, man?
Lots of problems.
Lots of problems. Lots of problems.
There it is. I knew it was coming. I felt it.
The most problems.
Yeah, it's true. That included.
Okay. Sorry. Off topic.
I think not. So I mean, like, if we're looking at data graphs of testosterone, right, being one, that's been in this massive downward spike.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
and this is something we touched on before briefly. Yeah.
And I know that we're going to touch on this later on in future episodes.
Yeah.
But I think it warrants discussing at least a little bit.
Okay.
Because
and this is I'm actually pretty ignorant to, like, well, you said the data graphs about the T.
So let's check it out. I mean, what do you think? What do you think would be the common reasons that hormone would be changing?
Yeah.
In our biochemistry.
If I had to make an initial guess, I would say food is probably the biggest one. That what we're eating is affecting our levels of T. It seems to me that recently there's been a lot of illumination to what we're eating and what's in our food, right? You know, I was reading, I saw a video the other day, and it cut open a hot dog, and they put it under the microscope, and in the hot dog they had all sorts of fucking weird shit that I was like, holy, what the fuck is that? There was I guess microplastics in the hot dog, like embedded in the meat. And you know, obviously a lot of food has, you know, all the ultra processed food has all sorts of dyes and other chemicals and stuff, and in my opinion, I just don't feel that's something we should be eating, right? I mean, you know, I'm not going to sit here and judge on anyone's food choices or anything like that. That's not my place, because, you know, you're part of the culture that you live in, right? So it's just this stuff can't be good for you, right? Red dyes can't be good for you. All the microplastics can't be good for you. And I don't think we fully know the effects of those things just yet. But John, what do you get now?
Basically, there's been shifts environmentally that has caused men and women to change hormonally. And some will say it's the food. Others, like Dr. Jack Kruse, will say it's our technology.
Okay.
It's the blue lights that we have.
Yeah.
That we're not outside. We're all indoors.
Yeah.
You sit in front of a computer all day, and it's sitting in front of you, and just talking, and you're telling me I'm starting to get some pain on my hip.
Yeah. Yeah, I was telling you that.
And I'm immediately thinking it's because you're sitting in front of a computer that's just laying right there next to you.
Yeah.
Inherently.
Yeah.
We spend all our time watching TV, We're not reading anymore. We're not a society of like, let's go out to the park and have a picnic. That's not the norm.
Yeah.
Nor do we live in a society such as we do here in Los Angeles that makes it normal to do that. And if we do go outside, we're in a time period where we want to share it and show it to everybody, and we have our phones on it.
Yeah.
To just be like, look, check it out. This is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I went to Griffith Park.
Yeah. It's interesting. You watch videos of concerts and stuff of bands.
You just said that a musician died, right?
Yeah.
But I know I'm cutting you off, but like,
No.
hear it through. When do artists perform? What time of day?
At night.
And in order to do that, they need what?
Artificial light.
And all these artificial lights are coming with a lot of blue light.
Yeah.
Because these are massive stage lights.
Yeah.
We know the concerts. You've been to them. You've
Yeah.
seen them. You all go to concerts, I'm sure. This is a generation of concert goers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're getting even more exposure of fake artificial light,
Yeah.
right? And if we're asking Dr. Jack will tell us
Yeah.
that is what's causing the hormonal spike, because we're addicted to technology.
Mm.
And that addiction is causing men, and we see this in the data, that are now in their late 20s, early 30s, needing testosterone, which is something that would actually happen if we're going to do it.
Yeah. In your 50s.
Closer to your 50s, your 60s, your 70s.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's a normal progression. And even then, there are small, independent, anecdotal advice or case studies that they themselves have recorded by writing on forums and whatnot, of doing different things to try to counteract that.
Yeah.
All the way, since this podcast, this episode rather, is more geared towards men, towards like prostate cancer.
Yeah.
So if you have prostate cancer, what's something that you could do to mitigate all of this? Well, apparently, cold therapy seems to be the best thing. And like we'd have to do an entire scientific explanation as to why this could be the case.
Yeah.
Right? But just on the simple idea that water could be conductive to electricity.
Yeah.
And our cells at a mitochondrial level need this electricity to function, to create energy for the rest of the cell to then do its processes. Does that make sense? And so if at its core, the battery that you need is already shot because we fucking sprayed a bunch of radiation over it, that spark is gone. And so now we need to inject you with this artificial hormone.
Yeah.
Because the whole system is wrong. But right now we're only magnifying on the testosterone.
Yeah.
Right? So really, what I want to say is, I think if you are a teenager or a young adult, a young man, right? And you're feeling anxious, I'm seeing it in the younger generation from coaching baseball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just anecdotally, just being in contact with family members and the younger generation.
Yeah.
You can see that these people are just a little bit more anxious.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact it's because they have way more technology than we did.
Yeah.
And we had made way more technology than
the
our
previous
parents.
generation. Yeah.
Way more than our grandparents, great-grandparents. And if we keep going further and further down the line, at some point it might occur to us, let's ask, what do you think? You know your grandfather.
Yeah.
How strong do you think your grandfather was when he was like 20 years old compared to
the average
his grandson today at 20 years old? Who is a stronger man in the sense, literally in the sense of physical strength?
Compared to me, right?
If you want to throw yourself into that comparison.
It's a good question.
And I know that the genome's different. Some of them played sports, some of them didn't. But just on a general whole, when we make that joke of, oh, he's got that old man strength.
Yeah. Probably I would say, and at least compared to my grandpa, using me as that placeholder. Because I was never like a full athlete, but I've always been pretty
You're athletic.
athletic.
Yeah.
And so, and I mean, I used to play football. I used to be out there. So maybe I'm a little biased and probably saying me because my grandpa wasn't an athlete or athletic in any way, but he worked hard. So I think just him. He was working in 20s. He was working in the floor trade back in the 60s. He was doing all sorts of physical labor. So I think by the mere virtue of him just doing what he does, my initial suspicion would be me, but if I had to be honest, it'd probably him, because just by the virtue of the work he did.
Now, is it a fair modern statement to say, when you see somebody, especially on baseball, like on the baseball field, you can say, "Oh, that boy's country strong."
Yeah.
And what does that really mean?
I mean, just naturally, physically built. He's he's the individual who's maybe not in the fucking gym all the time, but he's, for whatever reason, A, B, and C, just again by the virtue or nature of the work that they do, is just strong.
It's because farmers are outside, bro.
Well,
so they're getting more sun exposure.
Yeah.
And so that's why they get bigger. That's the argument. That's the science.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want to be less anxious, number one, go figure out how to get strong.
Yeah.
Right? Jordan Peterson talks about it on a psychological sense of become that monster. Know what that monster is capable of.
Yeah.
So if you're this weak, crippling little piece of shit, figure out how to become a monster. Right?
Yeah.
What does that monster look like? Now you have to take yourself out from being this scared little piece of shit.
Yeah.
Into how do you become this monster? Because then the next step is, how do you tame that monster?
Yeah.
How do you become intellectually aware to know, okay, maybe we shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't be the animal on the field. Because I was that yelling animal on the field.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean that's it. It's a superpower, right? Like if you are, let's say you become that monster, or you're becoming that monster, right? Obviously, there's not every aspect of that isn't good in every context, right? So having the wisdom and the discipline, right, to figure that out, hey, this in this particular moment, this is where I turn it on, and then this is where I show discretion. This is where I, I, for lack of better words, you lock it up and all context driven, right? And I think that's also part of being a monster too, right? If you're able to have the emotional intelligence and the the ability to recognize, hey, I'm going to use this superpower in this moment, and I'm not going to use it here. I think that's in and of itself is a skill.
But you have to have the tools to know that you're capable of that.
Yeah.
And so I know this, you know this, because when you go into a judo or jiu-jitsu rather, you see that these people are capable of killing you.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're also some of the nicest people.
That's true.
Why is that?
I mean, it all goes back to discipline, man.
No, because they absolutely know what's on the other side.
True. Yeah.
And so instead of staying there, let's be good. Let's be cool. Let's be calm.
Yeah.
And in the sole act of continually doing that stressor, everything else is easier, dude.
Yeah.
Because I'm not getting fucking strangled. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, no.
And that will calm you down.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. You need stress exposure.
But what am I also saying? I'm also saying that physical touch of being around other men helps make you become stronger too.
Yeah.
And so if you're stuck indoors, stuck inside, behind a screen, playing video games, on your computer, on your phone, and you're not outdoors playing with the boys, getting rough, getting stronger, exerting yourself, or actually learning something, then you are becoming more of that little bitch. And so now you'll keep going back to the technology.
Yeah.
And so you'll use your phone to order food, and you won't go out, and you won't go to the restaurants. You won't do any of that.
Yeah.
You just stay at home because you have this technology and you're feeling this comfort.
What do you, without getting too into the details, what do you think COVID did? Do you think COVID exacerbated a lot of these issues? Because, for the most part, most people were forced to stay indoors.
Right.
And
I think for the adolescents, yes.
Okay.
It caused a massive disruption in your social ability to grow, right? Because I think kids grow by watching others, and they grow faster by being with others when there's now like a group leader. And I mean, that's why we kind of have a teacher model system, right? Yeah. It's old as time. And it's because they learn best when there's somebody else to show the way. They're going to be, it's going to be utter chaos if we just it's the Lord of the Flies if we let the kids go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So instead of that, you have to have somebody there leading that charge. And what we realized during COVID, when everything got shut down, nobody's really in charge. The parents now have to take the reins. Yeah. And if the parents weren't great parents, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, even great parents,
they got burnt out.
Yeah.
Why? They couldn't go outside. Cabin fever is real.
Yeah.
Right? You get stuck into a cabin during the winter and you can't go out, you can't do anything. It gets crazy.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah.
Unless you know how to tame it. Right?
Yeah.
And so COVID exposed that nobody was prepared to tame it. And the few that were, those were the ones that end up questioning everything.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Looks like we got a visitor.
Onyx is out here. All right. But
what a good dog, by the way.
Thank you. I think that's part of one of the things. And I mean, the other thing is just you just saw utter dominion to say, if you want to travel, you need to show proof that you had this vaccine. If not, you can't. Yeah. We don't even do that to vote.
Yeah. I remember that. I mean, I did get the vaccine at the J&J. At the time, that was like, oh, man, that's a risky one. Probably still is. I haven't experienced any adverse effects. And I don't know anyone in my immediate circle that has experienced any negative effects from having the vaccine either. But I know it's out there. Yeah, you do. Individually?
My mom, dude.
Oh, really? I don't know.
That's my personal belief, but that's a whole other can of worms.
Well, we'll talk about that offline before we bring it to the pod. I didn't realize that.
Just think about it though. If you were to go into a hospital right now,
yeah,
and you were to ask doctors next time you go into a hospital,
yeah,
ask the doctors. Just ask them, hey, have you guys ever dealt with like a super cancer? Is that what's up with that? Just ask and see what you hear.
Yeah.
And report back in like a couple months.
Okay.
A couple weeks, and then see what they say, dude.
Super cancer.
Yeah.
Well, I do know someone. One of my.
We just got demonetized.
Yeah. And again, not conspiratorial. I'm not gonna question anything right here, but it was interesting. This was back in maybe April or May of 2020. I had an old supervisor. Her father had cancer and passed away. He had cancer. He was like stage 4 cancer or something. It was something that was fatal, and he wasn't going to survive. Now, in the hospital, he died. And this was obviously during May 2020, June 2020, in this time frame.
Yeah.
They came back and said, "Oh, he died of COVID."
Of course.
And so this is. I don't think she was even in the position to question what the orthodoxy was at the time. I don't think people really knew at the time what was going on exactly, but she knew her dad died of cancer, and she had to fight with the hospital. And sure enough, the hospital conceded because I think she knew that they knew that they were inaccurate in reporting that, so they changed it that his cause of death was the cancer. And again, this is June. I think this is before. I mean, people were already questioning kind of the common narrative at that point, but it was just interesting. Early on, there was these weird, hey, this is odd, and that was one of the moments where I was like, that's a little weird. You know what I mean? Without digging too deep into it, but interesting. No, interesting. What I was going to say about COVID though is, fortunately, I was able to work still, and my work was outside. So, I feel pretty fortunate that I was able to still get outside, still do things, and, had access to certain things I know other people didn't have access to. And I think it's the same with my wife. And we were just dating at the time, but it definitely helped us stay sane, I think, to actually still have contact with people, still see people.
Sure.
It was weird not being able to hang out with my family and go over there, but at a certain point, fuck it, we're gonna go see our family and things like that. And our COVID experience was pretty benign for the most part. But I know that wasn't the case for a lot of people. I mean, people were locking up indoors with a significant other, these COVID relationships, like, hey, I've been dating for a month. Hey, you want to hang out for the next year? But and then people who didn't have that, the amount of social isolation that you have.
Sure.
I think one thing that you touched on with social media is a pretty, or not just social media, but technology in general, I think has the ability to isolate people. And I probably brought this example up before, but again, such a prescient movie was WALL-E. I mean, Disney made, I don't know who approved that movie, because there's some narratives in it that I don't fully agree with, but I mean, you have this society who got so focused on technology, they destroyed the planet, and they ended up isolating themselves even further on a spaceship where they had all the technology that did everything for them. Their bodies, their actual physical composition changed where they can no longer walk normally. And it was now, this was kind of like a lost generation of just a bunch of fat people literally moved around in floating chairs around the spaceship. In their chairs, John, they had computer screens, and they were connected to this digital world while they were all next to each other. No one was talking.
Right.
And I think,
but that's how it is on like a New York subway system.
But no, and exactly, I'm saying we're all kind of our own little isolated islands these
100%.
days. And I think about the people that I come in contact regularly with, and so they just don't have anyone. And it's not that I don't think they have anyone. They just don't know that they have people in their lives that they can connect with, or different things that can kind of bring them into the real world.
They're so addicted to their technology that they don't want it. They don't need it. They don't seek it.
It's kind of like if someone has a schizophrenic person who refuses to acknowledge their own mental health issues, right?
Sure.
And in some sort of way, this has kind of created a mental health crisis that no one wants to acknowledge that they have. Because you're right. I mean, Ben Shapiro, he has a statement that I think is really a really good statement, and I'm pretty sure I've repeated it here. Go outside and touch the grass.
Right.
Like, get a sense of reality. But just being outside, dude, like, you feel better, going for a walk, But
that's what we need.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, my wife and I, we have our little dog, Chocolate, old guy, and we're walking. Sometimes, he doesn't want to walk, so we got to force him to, because he's old as shit. But, dude, just getting outside, though, and walking for 20 minutes, your whole mood improves.
Right.
I think it was Huberman that was talking about, exercise in almost any capacity is going to be more effective at improving your mood than any sort of medication for depression or anything like that. And that's why I always tell people, just go outside, go for a walk, go for a run, do something physical, give your body some stress, and then watch your mood is going to be improved, right? One interesting thing I found when looking at this topic is that we're more anxious than we've ever been.
Right.
Even in the last, within the last year, for the 2024 year, we're more anxious than we were by a significant margin, something like 30, 40% than we were the previous year, let alone where we were 20 years ago, a generation ago, several generations ago. And that's when you factor in too, like actual huge societal stress like World War II or the Great Depression or something that I think was real in the physical world. Most of our problems I think individually we have is all kind of what we see in the technological world. But I mean, it makes sense that we're more anxious online, especially since, you pointed out earlier, you go to Griffith Park, everyone has their phones out. They're taking pictures of the skyline. You go to a concert, no one's mosh pitting anymore. Everyone has their fucking phones out, and it just looks like a light show. It looks like it's a part of the experience now.
It is.
I mean, absolutely.
We are the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people.
But it's insane to me, man. Like you'll see a band, like there's certain music scenes that I think are, knock on wood, or are exempt from some of those cell phone things. Not completely, but I'm a huge Blink fan, as you know. But if you look up any Blink concert online, even some of their fastest and high energy songs, which is most of their songs, people are just standing there beat bopping with their fucking phones up. My wife and I went to the concert in July with a good friend and his wife, and in Vegas. I mean, we're in our seats. We're not on the floor, so I couldn't fucking run around or pit or anything. But I would be so uncomfortable to pit if I was in there and be in the pit and mosh pitting, because, dude, everyone there was like fucking, planks. They just like, have you ever seen a Ed, Edd and Eddy?
Mm-hmm.
You're a Johnny with plank. Mm-hmm. That's what they're plank. And Johnny's talking to him. That's a wild show, by the way. I don't know what the fuck is going on in that show, but where are the parents? And this guy Johnny,
it's Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, dude, that's a great show though. Cartoon Network in the late '90s, early 2000s hit different. But anyways, it's odd to me, man, that we just can't enjoy anything anymore. I had a buddy, he told me this. He's a photographer, one of my coworkers. He goes to Iceland periodically. He loves, taking astrophotography. He loves taking pictures of the aurora borealis, the northern lights, and just the landscape over there. And that place is pretty isolated. Not so isolated to the point where, you're going to get lost and die. You can, but it's pretty isolated. And he takes these solo trips there, and he'll go, to a particular landmark or particular site. And he says people will come up and they just snap a picture and then they leave. He was like, I literally stand there for an hour and I just take it all in. I think about what I'm feeling. I think about what I'm looking at makes me feel. And I just take it all in and humbled by the experience of nature. And that was the takeaway, I mean, because, how often do you go to somewhere and you just kind of lose the moment because you wanted to take a picture of it? And now, for the most part, like I try not to take pictures of stuff like that. I just try to enjoy it and remember it, in my head, because that experience, personal experience, is always going to be better than looking back on a photograph that, maybe I took 10 pictures of the same fucking thing. And it's like, it loses value.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just snap one picture, you capture one moment, that one's going to be the important one.
Exactly.
Like we lose a little bit of value in the amount that we can create, right? It's saturated, oversaturated.
Yeah.
And we're oversaturating our experiences by mere virtue of documenting everything. You know, you look at old pictures of, you know, your youth. Like I have some photos from like when I had a disposable camera and I went on a trip. And some pictures are so stupid, but it's like you only have one opportunity here to capture this. What are you going to capture? And when something is limited like that, and it's a resource that it's finite, there's no endless number to it, right? You can take 1 million pictures on your iPhone. You're only limited to how much storage space you're willing to buy.
Exactly.
So if you're limited to taking one picture to capture this moment, you better make it a good moment.
Exactly.
And that's why you look back on all these when you see old pictures of anybody, whether it's your own life or a family's life, that moment feels so much more precious because you can see, hey, everyone for this second stood around and take a picture or captured something that, you know, was candid. And so when you have that experience and you're able to you know, take that in, I think that is when a picture becomes, you know, it transcends that moment and makes it a special place. You know, we've all seen the same fucking picture of the Griffith Observatory, you know, of the LA skyline, and it is posted every single day, millions of times, over and over again. And it's just like, it loses its value, I think. And partially too, if people are taking all these photos of all these places that they're at, I think just by mere virtue that if you're online and you see oh man, so-and-so's living a fucking amazing life. They're on a private airplane. You know what I mean? They're living their best life. They're on a private jet. How can I get a private jet? I think it just creates this level of anxiety that, hey, I'm not there. I don't have that. When you come to find out the jet was fucking rented and it's fake as shit. It's just a set somewhere in
Santa
LA,
Monica.
in Santa Monica, right? So it's silly to me, man. But that's social media, at least a component of it. That's why I fucking think people are anxious all the time. But why are they horny, John? If our T is down, why are we so horny?
I think at your fingertips, you can see more women than your great ancestors saw in an entire lifetime.
Yeah.
I think that's part of a problem.
Mm.
So you have access to this fake digital world, this whole porn construct, right? Hollywood, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's an industry. And I think having access digitally to that is kind of taking away value in women. And the mere fact that some women kind of make a career out of showing their chocolate starfish on OnlyFans.
And the hot dog flavored water.
Limp
Bizkit reference.
Does not help.
Mm.
Right? So really, as a guy, you kind of have to do your own self-exploration to know that you're not going to go the easy route. And the easy route is the porn. The easy route is strip clubs. The easy route is like anything that's easy, right? Or you can pay for it. That acceptance to now do what is difficult, which now in this case, if you actually want to go out and meet people, means that you got to go outside.
Yeah.
You have to go to an actual place where people meet, where they go out and just be people. And so if you as a man don't know who the hell you are individually, there's no way in hell you're going to have a chance with a woman. Because she's looking for something completely different than you're looking for. If you're this little child still thinking, like literally as my old baseball coach, not a good coach, just a coach that I've had before.
Yeah.
It would say all of y'all are just young, dumb, and full of cum. You guys are dumb, stupid. You can't think. You don't know what life is, and you know nothing of the world.
Yeah.
And you're only thinking with your dick.
Mm.
And when you're an adolescent little boy, you gotta have to figure out your curiosities, change that up, do something that's difficult, what's not the norm, because everyone else is going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Watching porn, checking this out, looking at this crazy video, and that's the norm. And that's pretty normal. That's part of growing up. I mean, I could hear it from, some of my friends, some of my dad's friends, older generations, where they would say that they would go to the woods and that's where they would find all the Playboy magazines. They would all be, in the woods.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's not the case anymore. You don't have to go to the woods.
Yeah.
You just open up your phone while you're taking a shit.
Yeah. Rub one out. Swipe up first and then start.
So the fact that exists and that it's so easy.
Yeah.
Doesn't give the reality of growing up, right? To be able to actually make it in the world with social cues and social norms.
Yeah, yeah.
To have a good, in a sense, hierarchy of a woman, like a strong woman.
Yeah.
You don't want no slut either,
Yeah.
So how are you going to develop to earn that?
Yeah.
To make yourself valuable so that she would want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
So that she could say, okay, you're interesting. Why are you interesting?
Yeah.
You have to develop, right?
Yeah.
There's a belief that it's a golden retriever and a black cat.
Mm.
That's a thought in love psychology.
Jeez.
Okay, that the woman needs to be the black cat and the man has to be the obedient golden retriever.
Yeah.
And the obedient golden retriever is always pursuing the black cat.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's completely true, but that's a norm that current psychology is saying.
Mm.
Value the woman more to chase after her.
Yeah.
Because sure, that's what the woman likes, but I don't think you want an obedient golden retriever either. I think you want a dog that can think for itself.
Yeah.
That can do what it needs to do to, in a sense, provide, right?
Yeah.
And that only comes after the dog has figured out what kind of dog am I.
Yeah.
Right?
You need the dog in you, but you need a...
And you need to know how hard can you actually bite.
Yeah.
And then figure out, all right, this is the ball. This is my ball.
Yeah.
I'm going to go chase after this ball all day.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I like that analogy quite a bit. I think, at least in my opinion, I'm no expert or anything like that, so I'm not going to portray myself as such, but just anecdotally, I think if you, as a man, fill your life with experiences, and experiences in personal growth, right?
You have to.
You have to. I think it's not so much that you're doing it. You're filling your life with experiences to have, look for a partner and use that as part of, let's say, a resume or whatever. But I think if you fill your life with experiences and you're learning and you're doing stuff that challenge you, inherently, you're going to come across and meet people who are of a similar mindset and, you maybe even greater experience levels, right? And that's going to make you better.
It's going to make you interesting, dude.
It's gonna make you interesting.
Because you did something different because you were curious and you did it.
And that's the biggest thing, dude, is curiosity. And I know we've spoken to this about on the podcast before, but I think just in any relationship, especially with women, I think you have to be curious, and you have to be able to ask questions. Because, I think, I was listening to a podcast kind of in preparation for this, but, being curious about another person, and learning about another person, that's going to help you develop your social skills. Like just being able to talk to people and ask questions, you're going to develop, a level of investigation that can open you up to a pretty genuine relationship, right? By asking questions. I think you teach yourself. I mean, you not necessarily teach yourself, but by asking questions and getting out of that zone and being curious with another person, you're developing that skill that I think is going to help alleviate social anxiety, right? And then 2, I think you get to know a person on a lot deeper level by being curious and trying to understand a person, and you can form genuine connections that way, right? So not only it's like a twofold benefit. Not only are you getting the benefit of, getting out of habits of social anxiety, now you're also forming deeper and more meaningful relationships by just being curious and asking questions. And 2, I think a part of that 2-pronged approach is you have to be willing to answer questions too. I don't think anyone's here advocating that you need to tell someone every dark passion or every facet of your person. I think that comes with time, and that comes with like an emotional maturity and connection that you have with someone. But I think being a little bit vulnerable as a man and sharing stuff about yourself with especially a woman, dude, that's gonna make you that much more attractive to that person, because not only are you curious, but you're vulnerable. And the more experiences that you have in your life, the more that you foster growth in your life, dude, you're gonna have so much to talk about and so much to share, really. I think with another person. Like I said, I think inherently having life experience just inherently makes you more interesting.
Yeah.
Versus someone who just sits on their computer today, all day, and plays video games or anything like that. I think there's a place for that shit. I play video games still, but I think going outside, dude, like you said, is a huge thing that's gonna help people realize that there's more to this world than their screens.
Right.
So, and 2, dude, I think, I was reading, Wired had an article in 2023 that Pornhub uses basically the same algorithmic models that every other website uses.
Yeah, of course.
And dude, I mean, YouTube, the doom scrolling is already addictive enough. Now you add the sexual component in fucking porn. Mm-hmm. Man, that's a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool that'll shape minds, and
that'll keep you addicted to your phone.
Yeah. No.
Now you won't get off it.
It's crazy, dude. It's fucking crazy. It's one thing when you have like a titty magazine or something. You know what I mean? Like old Playboys or whatever. There was a mystique to it. I remember, when you're a kid and there's a titty magazine, it's like, oh, like, it feels very taboo. There's a I don't know, there's this air around it. It's like, oh man, what's in there? You gotta know. And then
just a fat hairy bush, bro.
Exactly. Right? Back in the 90s. But, and I think I'm not going to say that was perfect or that's healthy or whatever, but I think that's definitely a healthier relationship than what it is now, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no mystique around porn.
No.
Right? Zero.
It's in Hollywood. What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got major Hollywood movies that are basically shooting full-on sex scenes.
Didn't Kamala have Is it Megan the Stallion?
Oh yeah,
Come out and
I think so. And
bring
twerked
him
or
out.
whatever.
Bring him out.
Who let the dogs out? Who? No, but I think that's what that song is about too.
Oh boy.
But no, 100%, dude. I think porn is so mainstream now that there is no mystique around it. There's no like the relationship there's between individual and sex now is just so the lines are blurred completely. It's just part of everyday life now.
And it's kind of weird that, like, at least on the podcasts that show women who are benefiting from I'm trying to kill this mosquito here.
This is mosquito country.
Anyways, talking about like how they're making money on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Or their body count.
Yeah.
And how that's like awesome. The higher the number, the more play, the better. When like on the extremist side, didn't the terrorists want 72 virgins?
That's low.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's a weird society that we're kind of putting some emphasis on, appreciating. Clearly, there's a market that people want.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think it's the right market.
Yeah.
For society, given what we are seeing as the trends.
Yeah. It's one thing. It would be one thing if there was no effects to these things, right? Like, I'm still of the opinion that people should have the ability to make the decisions they want to make as adults and do it and have that personal autonomy. Kind of like a very libertarian view on those things.
Sure.
At the same token, though, when you the numbers speak for themselves. If we've been more anxious than we've ever been, we're more depressed than we've ever been. We're, suicide's up, fentanyl abuse is up, like all these things, man. And it seems like they stem from very similar issues, and it's hard to not care about those things. It's hard, I'm still of the belief that people are going to do whatever they want to do, and I don't think there's any place for, especially government specifically, to regulate that behavior. But it's tough to see as someone who's looking at this whole broad situation and say, man, like, this is really having an impact on men, on women, and everybody, on the families, on institutions. Sam Harris, again, big fan. He was saying that the right is now so distrusting of institutions that they're advocating for tearing it down. And I agree in the sense that institutions are a good thing. We should trust our institutions. But when you see the institutions consistently betray you over and over and over again, and betray society and create this sort of almost lawlessness, then it's like, man, what other options we have? And that's the thing. I love Sam Harris' podcast. I love it a lot. He's freaking good at what he does. But he always says the same things, like, man, the right's not trusting institutions. They want to tear these institutions down. But then he'll give all these examples of how institutions like the news media consistently betray and parrot whatever line is the line of the day.
Right.
And it's just like, well, what's the prescription then, Sam? So, it just sucks that you see some of these issues really tearing at our fabric and shaping institutions. And I think that's the issue I have, that the family is no longer has as much significance as it does, And then some would argue like, well, families are fucked up. Sure, that's true, but why? Where did we go wrong? no family's perfect, but a lot of families are really good, and at least good enough that we're shaping good people. Majority of people, I would argue, are decent people. I don't, no one's extraordinarily good and no one's extraordinarily evil, generally speaking. And I think a large part has to do with families and those types of institutions. But if we're ripping them away by, if technology is sort of merging all the institutions into one, what does that look like in the future? And it's like no wonder people are so fucking depressed, anxious, and horny.
Right.
It's weird that there's this people are having less sex with now, but they're more horny than they've ever been.
And they need erectile dysfunction drugs like never before.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. And so, if just so I'm clear, part of that, according to Dr. Kruse, is that light exposure.
It's the blue
right?
light.
The blue light.
It's the blue light. It's not the food. Food has nothing to do with it.
You don't think food has anything to do with it?
A little bit. His argument is a little bit,
Yeah. But the primary cause is that
the
light.
greatest cause is your inability to absorb light.
Yeah.
And so, since there's an inability to absorb the light, your body is responding by expanding outwards, seeking the light. And hormonally spiking your cortisol to shoot up, seeking the light. And instead, that triggers your hormonal system to say, I'm kind of hungry. I'm going to go eat. And then you go eat. You have some sugary food, and that dopamine covers whatever you're feeling. When really what you actually needed was to go walk.
Yeah.
To go see the sun, to go watch the sun rise.
Yeah.
But you didn't do that. Instead, you got up at 11:30. It's the weekend. Today's not the weekend, but if it's the weekend, most people wake up really late. They never watch the sunrise.
Yeah.
People think I'm crazy when I say I love watching the sunrise from darkness coming up. I mean, you asked what time do I get here, and I said 5:30, and like.
Well, I said no. I'm not doing
exactly. So I'm the wild one.
Well, but mainly because I'm going to be up for the next 24 hours.
That's fair. Regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
Okay.
Well, I think too, man, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that we could be in such a different place with balance. If you like you kind of talked about earlier with my grandpa. My grandpa's physical strength when he was 20 was probably better than mine. And again, that's him being out. That's him working. He wasn't actively, trying to be stronger. It's just by virtue of him being outside.
I'm not saying he was a NFL linebacker.
No. But what I'm saying, though, is that, life expectancy... I think life expectancy has actually gone down in the United States. And part of that, I want to say, is due to the fentanyl crisis. Different conversation. But life expectancy from where
Same
it was...
conversation.
Okay,
you have people who are addicted.
Okay, it's the same conversation, but the point I'm trying to make is that life expectancy today is generally higher than it's ever been, right? And
yet we're the sickest that we've ever been.
And that's what, when you think about balance, having balanced lives where we're outside, we're doing things, we're working, we're playing, we're with others. All those things are so important. And if it'd be great to have this balance where, you combine that with some modern medicines, not all, right? Obviously, big pharma we're pretty skeptical of them here sometimes. But if you consider some of the modern advances that we have, especially when it comes to like orthopedic health, right? Physical therapy, I think these things have improved people's lives significantly, right? But we have the kind of balance and structure that maybe we had a generation ago. Dude, just to see where we could be, it's pretty sad. No, that's the point I was making. I don't even know where I was going. I just think, man, like, imagine the work ethic and the being outside, like the previous generation, but with some of the advances that we have today. Like, it could be amazing. We could be the healthiest we've ever been. But instead, we're the sickest we've ever been. It's sad. It's damn sad, John.
Well, hate to quote Charlie Munger, I think every episode, but show me the incentives and I'll show you the results.
There you go. It's a great quote.
So, not a doctor, but what's a prescription, right, that we're, I think, trying to push? I think for sure one would be go get strong.
Yeah.
Go get strong. Go do something hard.
Yeah.
Ideally in the sun. I think the second thing, you got to grow some balls. And you got to figure out how to go outside. How to go out, meet new people, meet new friends.
I think to piggyback on that, growing some balls, going outside, meeting new people, I think how you do that in the most realistic way is explore new things, explore hobbies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not disagreeing with you or anything.
No.
I just, to give some tangible advice, like going outside, I think take shape in a lot of different forms. And that could be maybe trying a sport. Like for me, this is the first time I ever played baseball in my life.
Organized baseball
in my life. With men. Menergy. Now,
male energy.
And seriously, it's been a great experience. Like, I fucking love it.
Right.
Doing jiu-jitsu is something I haven't done in a minute, but now that my schedule kind of allows for that, it's something I'm going to be getting back into. And I think I was kind of thinking about it today. I was driving in, man, I have some anxiety around that, but I'm never going to face that anxiety by not doing it. Right.
100%.
And so I think growing some balls, it all it really means is, and getting out there, all it really means is just explore something new. Again, like you said, preferentially outside, with others. And I think you're going to see the results, tangible results in your own personal life and your mood and your interactions with people.
So say you want to go outside to go meet girls. Go do it, and do it sober. Don't get drunk.
Yeah.
Go try that. See if you can do that.
Yeah.
You can go so far as to the creepy pickup community, and you can try to learn how to pick up people, right? Pick up women, but try to do it your way.
Yeah.
And the only way that you can do that is being comfortable with who you are.
Yeah.
By following your curiosity.
What are some other prescriptions?
One of my favorites would be sit down, couple hours, or over the course of like a week, and write out like a 10-page in the next 10 years. Who do you want to become?
Yeah.
What does that person do, look like, act? Write out the whole day for 10 pages in full detail. And if you do that and you continue revisiting it, an odd thing will happen. You'll become that person.
Yeah.
You have to think about it. And that takes a little bit of foresight to think about, okay, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
Who do I want to become? What do I want to be? And I think those are the questions that if you don't ask, you're going to stay maybe even more anxious, more nervous, just scared to figure out the human becoming of what could be and what can be.
Unburdened by what has been.
Exactly. But really,
Yeah.
that dogma of where that's coming from is trying to teach, unity, community, and a growth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the essence of that thing, although it's coming from communist documents. That's a whole nother pod. But regardless, doing the 10 pages is a tough exercise that you can do and you can look back on and see how you have changed. Right? So when I was my own nervous wreck, I think I had to have my come to Jesus moment, so to speak.
Yeah.
Where you have to assess who you are, where you're going, who you want to become, and then decide. And so at the time, it was for a birthday of one of my friends, and I saw a picture of me, him, and a girl that I went to school with from preschool. And just seeing this massive fat fuck looking back at the camera with obviously two very familiar faces.
Yeah.
Right? One since I was a kid, and the other one who's been one of my other best friends, was a shock.
Yeah.
And that's what set me on the path to say, I need to do something about this.
Yeah.
Because I look like I am 45 years old and I'm fucking 20.
Yeah.
Something's wrong here.
Yeah.
I'm killing myself. How? What am I doing wrong? And that kind of led me on the path to figuring out what's wrong with me. And so I immediately got into a deep dive of science, understanding biochemistry, understanding nutrition. And at the same time, because I had a knee injury, and as we talked about it, playing sports, I knew I needed to be active. I missed being active. So active at the time for me meant Olympic weightlifting.
Yeah.
Strength training.
Yeah, I remember those days.
And so I got a gym, found a gym that had a platform, and as luck would have it, within the month of joining the gym, I found somebody who was a specialist on Olympic weightlifting, and I could see it. You could just see it from everyone else in the gym that this guy knew what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah.
Like, there were a lot of bodybuilders in the gym, but like I said, I was at a moment where I was interested in Olympic weightlifting because I figured if I can do that, then my knee will be ready for anything. And I found this guy and I asked him, yo, how did you learn, or where did you learn how to Olympic lift? And he's like, you live in the area? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I got you, dude. He had a notebook, pulled out a pen and paper, gave me an address, gave me a phone number, call this guy.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me, the phone number that he was giving me was to a real American USA Olympic weightlifting coach for Team USA, who's been USA's Olympic weightlifting coach since, I think, not officially like 1970 something, but he's been on the team since the 1960s.
Oh, shit.
And he's been to every single Olympics. And he knows everyone on Team USA. And he was there up until, I think, 87, 88. I think that was the last Olympic team that he was putting together. And that became my coach. Because I was curious.
Yeah.
And he's the one who said, okay, I'm going to teach you how to do this. That gave me confidence.
Yeah.
Started losing weight, started getting stronger, getting deeper and deeper into my nutrition, learning up on the science, figuring out, who are the resources that I can gather more information from.
Yeah.
And then once I felt confident enough after losing enough weight, I think I maybe lost maybe 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to go out.
Yeah.
Let's go out. Let's hit the streets.
Yeah.
So now I start hitting the streets. And I end up finding a new group of friends who all they're interested in is just going out.
Yeah.
And that was something that I wasn't used to. I was used to just being the studious student at home.
Yeah.
Come home from practice and start studying.
Yeah.
And instead, I found these new habits of going out. And these groups of friends that I found, they were smart enough to know we don't only need to go out at night. We have to go out all the time. During the day, during this. And a few of them, oddly enough, went so far as to try to do the whole pickup community.
Yeah.
And so then that introduced me into that whole weird world.
Yeah.
And that's where I really saw what weird, awkward, socially anxious men look like.
Yeah.
No, I'm being serious, though.
I know.
And I was like, holy fuck, this is a group of weirdos. All right, but my friend over there looks like a fucking ringleader over here, so all right, fuck it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot. I learned a lot about human relations, social confidence.
Yeah.
Being the kind of person, because it is true, and I'm sure you've been in the situation like this, but haven't you been at a restaurant where you're eating, let's say you're eating with your wife, you're eating dinner, you're minding your own business, and then somebody walks into a room and they just have this weird energy that forces you to stop what you're doing and figure out who's that?
Yeah. I've had that experience.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe something about that person's is magnetic. Something's off. Whether it's a behavior, there's something's out of the norm, out of the baseline.
Okay. Guarantee you that person's done a lot of work, either for good or for negative.
Yeah.
And then you'll figure out real quick, oh, this is a shady guy, or oh, huh, that's Kanye.
So shady guy?
No, it's not a shady guy.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Kanye's a good guy.
But you get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
So doing that work gives you that aura. For good or for bad.
For good or for bad.
You could be evil, horrible, maniacal.
Yeah.
And you'll have that energy.
Yeah.
You can. And that's weird. And that's real, though.
Yeah.
So at the same token, doing good, seeking good, and wanting to be a good person,
Yeah.
also gives you that kind of energy.
Yeah.
So it's a choice, right? It's a choice if you want to be the A student or if you want to be the F student or the C student.
Yeah.
It's a choice. So how much work are you willing to put in?
And you know what? I agree with that completely. A lot of people's, from a different particular political persuasion, they will say that some people are so disadvantaged that they don't have a choice in the matter of what certain things in their lives, right? I'll disagree with that to an extent. You don't have a choice. There's some things that you don't have a choice with, right? Like you don't have a choice of where you're born. You don't have a choice of what context or time frame you were born. You can't choose your family. There's a lot of things that you start off with. You don't choose what socioeconomic class you're in. You're dealt a hand of cards that is random, right? So, a lot of people say, "Well, I got a shitty hand. What am I gonna do?" Like, how am I gonna make it here with this shitty hand? And the thing is that even if you're dealt a shitty hand, you still have to play your cards, and how you play your cards is going to be what determines that outcome, right? And if you don't play your cards right, especially when the context sucks, then yeah, you're not going to be successful. But if you learn how to play with what you have, take advantages of opportunities that you have, and continue to build from there. And I think a lot of what you're saying is going back and experiencing things, going back to you know, getting a new card, creating a new hand.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? And I think it all goes back to the decisions you make. Because, you know, there is things that we can't change about ourselves. But there are things that we can. And learning to recognize and see the difference is important. I think it was the serenity quote, like, God grant me the serenity to change the things I can, to accept the things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that quote is such a powerful one because, you know, being able to recognize what you can and cannot do and what you can and cannot change is a huge advantage, because it's going to allow you to hyper focus on the things that are important and not so much the things that we can't fix. And that quote has always stuck out to me as an important one.
Here's a Kruse quote.
Hit it.
Life, science, and photography all develop from the negatives.
I like that a lot. That's a big one to sit with. What is it? I mean,
because remember, when you're making negative prints,
yeah,
right, in photography, what kind of room do you have to be in?
a dark room.
Not just a dark room.
A really dark room. Does it have the red light? Yeah.
It's UV light.
Yeah.
Because if you put in blue light, you'll destroy it.
Yeah.
That's
the difference.
That's the difference.
Yeah. It's a good one, man. I really like that quote. There's a lot of truth in that. I mean, you think about every formative experience you've ever had, it probably started out bad.
Oh, yeah.
And if it doesn't destroy you, it's going to, right? You're going to be better for it. Even in the most shitty situations. And I think that's what I want people to remember. If they take anything away from this episode, it's like, if you have a shitty experience, if you have something going on in your life that feels so bad that you don't feel like there's any end to it, like, just know that you're going to come through on the other side. It has to be a choice. It's not going to happen by itself. You have to choose to come out on the other side. But once you make it to the end, and now that's behind you, like, that experience is going to be so enriching, and it's going to shape so much of who you are for the better. You're going to be more resilient. You're going to be more interesting. And I think you'll be more capable of meeting whatever challenge that this world throws at you. And that's the thing, man. Like, you can have the worst day of your life, but how do you respond to the worst day of your life? You know what I mean? I think when you hear stories about soldiers or something, stuff that really gets me fucking choked up sometimes is you get soldiers who in battle, especially during World War II or any conflict, there's always one, more than one. I mean, just like the odds are so fucking against them, but they met that moment, and maybe they sacrificed their life, or maybe, you know, in the service of their partners and service of their brothers, sisters out there in conflict. But, you know, the product of that is you you're so much stronger. And that's so inspiring. Like, when you think about just sort of the philosophical side of it, like being able to meet that moment in service of others, man, that shit is wild. Like running to the problem. And I think that's what conflict does for you. It gives you the ability, instead of running away from the problem, you run to it. And that's how you come out ahead, whatever the outcome is.
And technology has allowed us to run away.
Yeah. No, it's true.
We don't even need to learn how to drive anymore.
That's true, man. Yeah. That's the biggest thing, man. You can't run away. You have to meet the problem. Because if you don't meet the problem, then you're going to be in a position where the problem runs you.
And I don't want to throw psychologists under the bus, but if you go to them and you tell them, I'm fat, I'm overweight, I feel depressed, this, that, their prescription, I want to say 9 out of 10 times, is going to be some sort of medication.
Yeah.
A pill. And that's going to be the fix. That's the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
It's going to cover your little boo-boo.
Yeah.
And we're going to just brush over it. But be careful. Make sure not to take 3 of them. You might have suicidal thoughts.
That's always a wild thing about medication. It's like, hey, this medication will fix your erectile dysfunction. It might kill you, but at least you have a hard cock. So, you got to love medication, man. No, but you're right, man. You're fucking absolutely right. Again, full disclaimer, everything we say here is our opinion. We're not doctors. We're not professionally trained psychologists or anything like that. But you and I both have, I'm not going to say we're the most experienced people out there on the fucking planet, but we have experiences
we're children.
Yeah, 100%.
The 70-year-old is looking at this saying, you guys are idiots.
Fuckers. I don't know, dick. But I got a hard cock from that Viagra. No, but just from our experiences and stuff like that, I think what we're saying is still important. I don't think it's any less valuable, even if we don't have a PhD in front of our name, or a doctor or PhD.
No, because it's real.
Yeah, exactly. But again, full disclaimer, we're not professionals, but I think just seeing human interaction enough and seeing what works for people, sometimes it feels easier and safer to run away, but it's not what's going to fix the root of the issue for you. Think about it, for all the fucking video game nerds out there, myself included. You don't fucking run away from the boss and still get the treasure.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You have to fight. You have to win. And then you get whatever loot. World of Warcraft. Full disclaimer. I fucking played that shit for a long time. I love that game. Haven't played it in a while now. But every raid or dungeon, whatever you're doing, whether it's a raid instance or a dungeon instance, you and your team are fighting the problem, aka boss, mobs, whatever. You're fighting them for the purpose of getting loot. Now just apply that same concept to the real world for your issues. That's the only way you get ahead, man. You have to meet the moment. And sometimes you're going to fail, and that's okay, because when you fail, you learn more about yourself than I think in the wins, because now it's going to be preparing you for the win the next time around.
Unless it's Diablos baseball and we need you to sacrifice yourself for the W.
Damn. Oh man.
Yeah, Bryan sacrificed himself for the W so that we can cancel out a player to get back to the top of the lineup, so that we'd have a higher probability of scoring the run.
Actually, let's break this situation down. Let's break this situation down. Diablos baseball.
Yeah.
We were the worst team in the league. I said I was having fun. I said I was having a good time playing. That doesn't mean our team has been doing good. That doesn't mean I've been doing
Dude,
great.
every podcast we've been updating them saying we've lost. So it's only fitting to say
fitting to say that we learned more about ourselves in failure to take it to the next game. For the Diablos, it only took 4 games, or at least in this season. I know we lost many games last season as well. We won our first game this season. We are now 1-3 in 4 competitions. And we have our big game on Sunday here in the beautiful county of Los Angeles. But I'm going to kind of break down the game. So the Diablos have had an issue where we get to 4 runs and then the game just shuts down for us. Our run production goes to 0 from that point on, and then we just get creamed because our pitchers get tired, and then we get a reliever in there who's, for whatever reason is, not pitching well. And then when we try to recover, it just doesn't happen. So usually we plateau at 4 runs. I think the previous game was 20-4 was the final time. Not this game. It was still a heavy run scoring game, but it was cool to see the fight in the players. We hit 4-0 in I think the first inning, right? So in the first inning, it's 4-0. Our pitching is doing pretty good, and then we flounder. We end up, I think, going down 7-4, then 9-4, and then 13-9 in the last inning of the game. We were the home team, so we had last AB, the last at bats, and the rally started. We tied the game in the 9th inning, 13-13, or the last inning. I don't even know. We made it to the 9th.
Yeah.
So in the last inning of the game, we tied it 13-13. We had 2 guys on, first and second. Pretty fast runner at second. It was my at bat. I had my helmet on,
ready to go.
I think I had 2 hits in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But my hits were all infield hits and kind of running them out.
Mm-hmm.
Weren't the cleanest hits.
Yeah, you hustled them.
And I hustled out.
Yeah, they bobbled it. They bobbled it both.
Yeah.
Well, no, one of them you got solid through.
Oh, yeah, one of them, yeah.
But the last one bobbled out, and you ran that shit out.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think on both ABs, the contact was good, but the first one, I got lucky. It went past the third baseman. The second one was bobbled by an infielder. So
second base.
The coach comes up to me and says, "Hey, are you okay if we sub you for our best hitter?" Which is another guy. And at first, I didn't really hear him. I thought I was still going up. I don't know. I was just excited because we were like, hey, I got this opportunity here.
It was getting close.
We're getting close. And then he kind of said it again, and then it registered that, oh, I'm being subbed. And, on a personal level, you're like, oh, fuck, man. Like, I feel good. But on looking where the game is at and looking at what the odds are, and really for the team, because we hadn't won a game yet, I was totally fine with it. I was happy to give it up. And then sure enough, it was a good move because that hitter hit a single.
Hit a double?
No, I think it was just a single.
Just a single?
It was a blooper.
Oh, okay.
It was a blooper into no man's land. Second base, the runner at second base runs to third, and then he gets waved home, but he got caught in the middle. So he ran home, towards home. This is pretty exciting stuff, by the way. He was running towards home. He gets caught by the catcher. Catcher, instead of throwing it immediately to third base, believed that he could catch him. So catcher started running towards the runner as runner's going back to third base. Catcher throws it, lobs it, gets past the third baseman into the outfield. Runner comes home. Diablos win 14-13 in an exciting conclusion and our first fucking win Diablos baseball, SC. We don't know if it stands for South Central or SoCal. So it was a exciting game, dude, and it was, dude, the energy level I think for that game was the highest I've played with the team.
Yeah.
It was definitely, everyone was up there, and I think it started when you were fucking pissed off because you got a shitty call.
Exactly.
And then,
because if I'm being honest,
yeah, here we go.
I've seen it now a couple times when you're playing in like at the high school level. If somebody has the energy, you could feel it. And in that game, the energy was shifting from one side to the other.
Yeah, it did.
From
That's
one
true.
side to the other. But once they started tacking on their rally, and it was getting out of hand, and it was a luck play where 2 luck plays happened. I don't think we were all in the same time, but to me, this is when the game changed. At some point, it was an infield fly, and I assumed he was going to call infield fly.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Let this shit bounce and see if this guy wants to run."
Oh yeah.
Let's see if he tests me. And that didn't happen. Okay.
Yeah, I remember that play.
And then the next one, to try to get out of the inning, ball gets thrown away. I'm playing third. Ends up going towards third base. And it's taking me off the base. And it's kind of skidding. And I'm like, okay, if I let it take a bounce, right, I could just easily pick it up, see if this guy baits, runs home, and I'll throw his ass out.
Yeah.
It happens, except I didn't realize that the kid who threw the ball probably didn't have a 4-seam grip. And so that ball just starts sailing on me further than what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And it gets maybe like 3 inches off of the fence.
Yeah.
But I didn't know, had already decided that if it gets past that fence, dead ball. Right? In the meeting. To me, I thought it was still playable.
Yeah.
Because it didn't really cross the line. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely close.
Like, I just picked it up, took 2 steps back in. I could easily make the throw, and nobody would let me take the throw.
Yeah.
Because they were like, dead, play's over, forget it. Everybody advance.
Yeah.
I was pissed.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to get the out.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where I'm like, okay, fine. Let's shift the energy, because clearly the other team, specifically their number 1 batter,
Yeah.
he was a loudmouth now. He was talking a lot.
Yeah, he was chirping a lot.
He was telling the runner at second, nobody's there. Hey, you're good. They ain't gonna do shit. Nobody's there.
Yeah.
You're good. They're not scared of you. And so I needed to shut that shit down. So I went ape shit, berserk, crazy. I looked like the crazy one.
Yeah. I think the coach, he had to tell you, like,
dude, you good? And I'm like, no, I wasn't good. And I think it benefited because it shifted the whole energy.
Yeah, 100%.
It proved that.
I think so we were down pretty significant. I think they were already up close to 13 at that point.
Right.
And we only had like maybe 5 runs.
Right.
I think that following inning, I opened it up with that run out play.
Right.
We started the rally and we got up to 9.
Exactly.
And that's what put us in striking distance to end the game.
Right.
And then all the dudes, like everyone was passing it on to the next one and getting good ABs. And
I got mad. Like I said, because I got mad.
Yeah.
And then I got the ball to pitch. I told you, fuck them. Yeah. I'm going to try to strike all of them out.
Yeah.
I got 2 out of the 3.
Yeah. That was good. Hey, man. It was. I definitely think that changed the game for us. The level of intent. I mean, you could tell, dude. And
then they made me take off my shirt.
Oh yeah, that was some bullshit.
I had to strip. That made everything weird too. So this guy's crazy, and he has to take off his shirt. Damn! Look how white he is. Oh shit! He's weird. He's wild.
Look at this crazy man. His big hair. Yeah, No, I mean, I think that definitely put a level of intensity that I hadn't seen on the team before.
And if I'm thinking of one more instance, again, I'm culpable here again. When I'm at bat, before they make the pitching change, I'm staring dead into the pitcher's eyes, and in my head, I'm saying something. I don't know if you do this when you play baseball, but this is what you're supposed to do. Okay, this is mental baseball. This is how you play in your head.
Okay.
Right? I see him. He's looking at me, and I'm like, fucking throw that ball. I'm going to hit the shit out of it. If you throw me a strike, I will destroy it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying to myself.
Yeah.
Literally. You will not beat you. You will not beat me. I will destroy you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
In my head.
Yeah.
One of them, the umpire gives me a bad call.
Yeah, he was.
So
I get pitches he was calling.
I get mad and I slam that bat on the end of the corner and I'm looking at him like, you're not gonna do it. And sure enough, I get a walk. I keep looking at him and he's like, I'm done. I'm hurt. He pulled out.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And for me, I felt I zapped your energy, you little bitch. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Hopefully he's not one of the 40 that watched the show.
If he is, I love you, bro. I gave you a high five and I said good game because I meant it. But like in that moment, no, you are my enemy.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no happy spirits here. There's no happy meal with this.
That's what I felt in the previous game where we got smoked. That pitcher specifically, because he was throwing a pretty good curveball. Not last game, but the previous game. Throwing a pretty good curveball, and it got me twice.
Yeah.
Like just fooled me in that AB. But so I kept thinking to myself, no, I'm not gonna be fooled by that again.
There you go.
And sure enough, I got two good solid hits off that guy, and
I didn't.
Yeah. And then we both. He gave me the nod both hits because it was good contact. Good hits. And but yeah, that's kind of, I haven't really said much in my head except see ball, hit ball, because I'm trying not to focus on mechanics as much.
No. Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, let me go out there and put good wood on the ball and see what happens.
You're hitting better than me.
Yeah, just fucking, and then hustling like fucking crazy. And when I come out, my fucking quad hurts.
As you should.
I always hurt after playing because
you go too hard.
I'm going too hard, but that's all right. I like it though because it's a good hurt. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, I'm
you earned
right
it
now, but it's like it helped.
Yeah,
the team
100%.
Good shit, dude. I'm excited for Sunday. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Getting some ABs in there and getting some hacks and fielding a little bit. I don't know if it was you or coach who said expect it. Like just expect the ball's coming to you and that's gonna, and when he said that I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like, of course, like it's gonna come to me. And I know that because, in other areas where I train and stuff, especially at work or anything, like they just tell you expect it. And I was like, of course. Now I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't come with me, it's like, all right, well, I was ready if it came to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then going to the practices, I think, has helped too.
No, for sure.
I kind of like the infield a little bit, but I don't know if I feel confident making that throw from third to first.
Not yet.
Not yet. I feel like I'll lob it.
No, you got to throw it.
But, and then I was hearing hearing Coach talk about kind of throwing sidearm when you're you're grabbing it and then you're just getting a sidearm to get to that first baseman. I actually feel like I could do that. I feel like I could do that okay. But some of the kids, they just kept doing it and it goes
That's
sailing.
Why. I want to, that's my own personal thing, but I personally want them to start knowing how to throw it properly.
Yeah.
Do it right. Let's do it right. Once you've done it right a few times.
Yeah.
Okay, now next time we'll move on and we'll just do it from the side and let's see how that works.
Yeah.
But I don't like that they're just like all of a sudden thinking, oh, I'm like a pro. No.
Yeah.
You don't even have the footwork down yet, dude.
Yeah, that's my shit on the infield, the footwork.
So once you have the footwork, then you can start learning how to throw from different angles.
Yeah.
Because now you know where you have enough on your body
Yeah.
to help make that throw.
Yeah. That makes sense.
But if you have no feet, that's why it's like just take an extra step, make sure we throw it right.
Yeah. I mean, and every throw is going to be contextual. Like, if you watch a big league game, like, they don't always throw sidearm. They don't always throw overhand.
No,
it's all different angles, but it's, like you said, it's based on where they field the ball and what kind of footwork they have to field the ball.
And they're pros.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
So the footwork is generally not even an issue.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they're fucking professional. Because once you have the footwork down, that's like 60% of it.
Yeah.
The rest of it is now, okay, how strong is your arm based off of that play?
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, dude.
So.
Was that any closing points?
I really do want to emphasize the 10-pager.
I really like that. I've actually never heard that before. I like that idea a lot.
So write it up. Have it on like a Google Doc so you can refer to it later. And then
just, can you, before we just briefly, I know we talked about it in the show, what that 10-pager is, but can you kind of sum it up just as a closing point?
Yeah,
like what that 10-pager is.
Kind of meditate on who you want to become, what that looks like, and think it through detail by detail. And if you really want it to be easy, paint the picture. And painting the picture starts from when you get up in the morning to when you go to bed. What does this whole day look like for you?
Yeah.
What kind of person are you to do these experiences, to do that, right? And you'd be surprised where you end up once you've done it, because you're doing a reflection for the future, kind of priming yourself to say, this is what I think I'm capable of.
Yeah.
And then actually strive to do it. And if you make it a habit to kind of reassess yourself every so often and see where you're at in comparison to where you would like to go, then that's your North Star, right? That's your guiding light to help become who it is that you want to be. If you don't do that, then you're just a boat that's just left dock aimlessly drifting away wherever the sea takes you. You need to have a mission. You need to know where you're going. And the only way you can do that is by sitting down and thinking about it, meditating on it, contemplating what it is that you want.
I just want to be clear, and you can. This isn't manifesting the universe and thinking positive.
No,
it is, it's laying down a foundation, a groundwork, a plan. That something is
not even a plan. Because that sounds too goal orientated. It is like you are manifesting.
Yeah.
But in a different sense of like.
But you're actively trying to become what you write.
You're thinking about what you would like to become.
Yeah.
Right? And what does that look like? What does that entail? So what does the house look like? What does your room look like? What do your fixtures look like? What kind of food are you eating?
Yeah.
Think it through.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Well, we'll leave this for next episode, but I think that's something we should probably investigate a little bit more, and talk about a little bit more in detail. I think next episode, and we maybe in conjunction with what we already had planned, let's just maybe go over that, like what that 10-pager actually, like some of
That's what we're doing right now.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know, but
it's not a format to say on page 1 and 2 cover this.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
It's you are the writer. You are writing the script of what does this day look like.
Yeah.
Right? Say in 10 years. So if today is October
18th.
Okay. 2024.
Yeah.
Throw it 10 years down the line.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Right?
Yeah.
What does the day look like? What play it out? The whole thing. See it. See it for yourself. Only you know what it looks like.
Okay.
And if you don't like it, then fucking delete. Keep going again.
That's true. That's true.
So it's your choice for what you want. No one else is supposed to tell you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to tell the paper, what is the house? What does this look like? What are you doing? What is your work? How do you keep busy? What do you do to stay happy?
And you can write this in any form.
Ideally, I would say just spit it out.
Gotcha.
Who cares where it goes?
Here's one thing I would suggest too. If anyone out there is writing this and thinking about how, because I've never heard of this 10-page thing before, and I really like it. What I already imagine myself doing is, setting up Word or Google Docs, turning off my monitor to prevent myself from self-editing and thinking about those things.
That's interesting.
And because this is how I wrote most of my college papers, and even like just stuff I write now. Sometimes you just need to put pen to paper, or in this case, you need to type. And so
I would say put pen to paper.
Pen to paper, yeah.
If I'm giving you my bias, that would be my bias.
I mean, it makes it definitely more personal, 100%. Yeah. But however anyone writes, if let's say you're not going to put pen to paper, I would say turn off that monitor. Don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about, punctuation or anything. Just fucking write.
And even if you don't use your computer, your phone, I mean, you could just talk to text.
Yeah.
Just make it a long voice memo too.
That's true too.
And
there's a lot of ways to do it. There's not one way.
The point is to do some work.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Take a step back. Fuck what your current reality looks like. You could be in a shithole, but so long as if you're thinking ahead,
yeah,
you're giving yourself a chance.
Yeah.
You're creating a runway of what's possible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
I like that. Reminds me of something that I think about all the time, is that the body will go where your mind has already been.
Right.
And that's I think a powerful tool to really reflect on where you want to be in your life.
Yeah. So this is your chance right here to decide, what does it look like? Write it out and see what happens.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. On that note, John, thank you for a great conversation today.
As always.
Tuesday is when we get together for the next one.
Yeah.
And we're playing together on Sunday, baseball.
Right.
Sunday League Baseball, Diablos, SoCal, or South Central. We still don't know. On that note, thank you for watching Below the Trees, our episode 6. For all of our watchers and viewers out there, I learned something interesting today. We have 10,000 views on across all videos, and I think that's pretty amazing. So if you like this content, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. If the 10-page self-reflection manifestation document is something that you're interested in doing, please do it and tell us what you think in the comments below. We'll be more than happy to interact with you. And if you guys ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to us on all of our platforms, which I think Instagram and YouTube, right?
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, I'm wetting the bed on Instagram with it.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
YouTube is the platform of our choice.
Is the usual one. Yeah.
But again, thank you for everyone watching. Thank you for indulging us with your time. We appreciate you. And this is the Below the Trees podcast.